Good
Hello,
morning,
everyone.
everybody.
Hello. I'm extremely happy today to have Dr. Mukherjee with us on one of the very important issues. Before we start and go forward, let me quickly introduce Dr. Mukherjee. So, uh, WeTogether.care welcomes Dr. Mukherjee to guide us on the topic impact of pollution on kidneys. That's primarily one of the areas that we'll look into, but we'll also talk much more and uh, have more information from him about kidney and kidney diseases and everything related to that. Uh, to start with, आज जो किडनी और पोल्यूशन इन चीजों को हम कनेक्ट करने की बात कर रहे हैं, बहुत बारी इस टॉपिक को सुनेंगे। जैसे हम लोग व्हेन वी से अबाउट पोल्यूशन, इट इज मोस्टली एयर पोल्यूशन, जैसे हमारी चीजें दिमाग में आती, बट देयर आर पोल्यूशन इज मच बियॉन्ड दैट जस्ट एयर पोल्यूशन। सो वेदर इट इज अ वाटर पोल्यूशन और वट एवर द इन अदर फॉर्मेट्स द पोल्यूशन जो हो रहा है, जो हम कंज्यूम करते हैं, तो हम जानने की कोशिश करते हैं दो पार्ट्स में। एक, कि जो पोल्यूशन है जिस भी प्रकार का, उससे पेशेंट्स को, यानी जो कोई किडनी पेशेंट्स नहीं है, तो इवेंचुअली उन्हें किडनीज पे उनका क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है। एंड सेकेंडली ऑल्सो, कि जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग किडनी पेशेंट्स हैं, क्रॉनिक किडनी डिसीजेस में हैं या acute किडनी डिसीज पेशेंट है, इनके ऊपर इस चीज का क्या असर होता है। सो बहुत बारी इसका डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन कितना हम लोग उसे समझ पाते हैं, ये एक अलग विषय होगा, बट हम जरूर जानते हैं कि इसका जरूर कुछ ना कुछ इम्पैक्ट है। सो शुरुआत में सर हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि ऑल टुगेदर पोल्यूशन हैज एनी इफेक्ट ऑन किडनीज और नो, एंड इफ इट हैज, then what are your initial views on pollution and the kidney disease?
Thank you, Rahul, for putting this question. What you said, one line is very important in what you said.
Correct,
That
sir.
when you say pollution, people automatically think of air pollution because that is what is seen most often in the newspaper.
Very true, sir.
कि पीएम इतना हो गया है, फसल जलाया जा रहा है, डीजल बसेस जा रही हैं. But pollution is actually much more than that. It is food adulterants. It is water.
True.
It is air. So everything which you take into your body can be contaminated and polluted. So let us start with air pollution, then we'll go on to food and other pollutions.
Sure, sir.
Now, effect on the kidney can be in two ways.
Hmm.
One is the pollution may affect the kidney directly or it may affect the kidney indirectly. Let's
Okay.
take indirect. Now we know half the diseases, or maybe more than half the diseases of the kidney, occur due to other conditions. Means a person of diabetes gets kidney disease because of diabetes. A
Hmm.
person of hypertension gets kidney disease because of hypertension. A person with autoimmune disease or bronchial asthma or COVID gets kidney disease because of some other illness. The kidney is not primarily at fault.
Hmm.
Then there are certain diseases intrinsic to the kidney. Correct?
Okay. Correct.
Let's first address the issue of indirect effect. Now, pollution causes multiple problems. It will cause breathing difficulty. It will cause asthma-like pictures. It will cause increased admissions due to these conditions. Then these people will get steroids to relieve them of their breathing difficulty. Correct? There will be antibiotics
Hmm.
which will be
Correct.
used to control infections. You will have poor control of
Correct.
diabetes and hypertension, which all will either cause kidney disease or aggravate a kidney disease which you already have. Your diabetes gets
Correct.
worse, your hypertension gets worse, your kidneys are going to get affected. Correct? The second part of affection of the kidney is where the kidney becomes the primary organ which is damaged. Now, please
Hmm.
understand for this to how it happens. What we have to understand is the kidneys are the filter of the body. Think of
Hmm.
it like you have made 10 liters of chai, but आपका छन्नी तो इतना बड़ा है. So those
Hmm.
10 liters of water has to go through a chhanni which is this size.
Very true.
So tea leaves which may have otherwise spread in 10 liters of water and you're getting one leaf in say 400 ml, you'll
Hmm.
get everything concentrated into this chhanni.
Yeah. Very
Any
true.
toxin which enters your body has only one exit.
Very true.
आपके शरीर में एंट्री दो तीन है. आपके नाक से है, आपके मुंह से है. ठीक है? आपके लंग्स,
Yeah.
आपके इंटेस्टाइन. बट एग्जिट तो एक ही है.
Hmm. Hmm.
These are your filters, and they will, when the toxins concentrate on the filters,
Hmm.
they start affecting that organ itself. The
Hmm.
problem of kidneys is that kidneys are a silent organ. When you have heart pain, when you have heart attack, you'll have pain. When you have a brain involvement, you'll have seizures, you'll have unconsciousness, you'll have paralysis.
Hmm.
किडनी की बीमारियां दबे पांव आती हैं.
Hmm.
तो आपको तब तक नहीं पता चलेगा जब तक आपका लैब टेस्ट नहीं होगा या आप बेहोश होकर अस्पताल नहीं पहुंचेंगे.
Hmm.
So people with normal kidney functions have a very subtle deterioration of kidney function. धीरे 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 कम होता है. एंड
Hmm.
जिनके पास ऑलरेडी किडनी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनका वर्सनिंग ऑफ द किडनी फंक्शन बिकम फास्टर. यानी कि अगर आप साफ सुथरे वातावरण में रहते तो हो सकता है
जी.
आपके वो डैमेज किडनीज 6 साल चलते, लेकिन क्योंकि आपको पोल्यूशन एंड एडल्टरेंट से आपको एक्सपोजर हुआ है, तो आपके किडनी 6 हफ्ते या 6 महीने में खराब हो जाएंगे.
Hmm.
बोथ आर इक्वली बैड. So we have covered things saying that we have direct and indirect effects on the kidney, and the
Very true.
fact that it precipitates new diseases and
Yeah.
it causes rapid worsening of existing diseases.
Correct. Perfect. I mean, wonderful explanation, sir. I must appreciate because the kind of examples you've been giving are very helpful to understand what you're trying to make it as a point. Sir, I'll come to water because अभी पानी जो है वो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है मतलब किसी भी जीव के लिए. और इसी के साथ मतलब कोई किडनी पेशेंट्स हैं उनको वाटर रेस्ट्रिक्शन का हमेशा दिया जाता है. सो उनका जो कितना वाटर उन्होंने कंज्यूम करना है इसका रेस्ट्रिक्शन दिया जाता है. और ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज इम्यूनिटी या ओवरऑल जो उनका वीकनेस बॉडी में है लेमन टर्म्स में अगर हम कहते हैं तो ऐसे समय पे वाटर बॉर्न कई सारी चीजें उन्हें ना हो और उससे और ज्यादा फर्दर वर्सनिंग ना हो. तो आई वुड लाइक टू पुट अप अ क्वेश्चन इन टर्म्स ऑफ when a patient whether he is in whatever stages of CKD, okay, or on dialysis or post transplant, in sari stages mein is there anything that specific a patient is supposed to or should be doing in terms of consuming the water in whatever allowed capacity it is for the patient, right? So is there anything specific that patient should really keep in mind so that they can take care of it? Because agar din mein 1 liter pani pina hai, to I think that is highest of the things. And I have a connected question to it, but probably post we just understand on this, I can just share that as well.
Okay, water restriction in kidneys
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
important.
Right.
Now, all of us are born with a certain amount of kidney functions, and when you're normally, if you don't have any disease, that
Yes.
kidney function remains at that. So, in
Right.
rough terms, all of us are born with 10 workers in our kidney,
Okay.
100% function, correct?
Okay.
This is what we are
Right.
born with.
Okay.
काम आपके जन्म से मौत तक काम शरीर का उतना ही रहता है. काम
अच्छा.
कम नहीं होता, आपके वर्कर्स कम होते जाते हैं.
Hmm.
So you have
Okay.
10 people to do 10 people's work. Then
Hmm.
suppose 2 workers run away, then you have 8 people to do that work. काम 10 लोगों का है.
Same work.
अभी आपके पास 8 वर्कर रह गए. With
जी.
the next stage of kidney disease, you have 7 workers left
Hmm.
to do 10 workers job.
Hmm.
Then it comes down to 5 workers to do 10 workers job.
Hmm.
So how थकेंगे तो वो और भी जल्दी,
Hmm.
right? Now, how
जी.
do you reduce their burden? How do you like make them last longer? You reduce the burden,
जी.
correct?
Correct.
आपके पास 10
Correct.
कूली की जगह 4 कूली काम करना है, तो आपके सूटकेस का वजन कम करना पड़ेगा.
जी. 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 बिल्कुल. I
So
agree.
when your kidneys are weak, any
Hmm.
extra water which you give, it cannot
Hmm.
throw out.
Hmm.
A normal kidney is very elastic.
Hmm.
It's like a cooperative wife. You get 1 lakh as salary, she will spend 90,000. You get 10,000 as salary, she will spend 90,000, 9,000. A damaged kidney is like a bad girlfriend. कि आपकी
Hmm.
आमदनी कुछ भी हो, खर्चा तो मैं इतना ही करूंगी. समझ गए आप ये बात? So it is very important to reduce your intake because your kidney cannot increase their function.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
why we say water restriction. जो भी extra आप लोगे वो आपके शरीर के अंदर रह जाएगा because drain blocked है. So
Hmm.
the best way out is restrict the amount you have to take in, whether food or water.
Got it. Got it. Wonderful examples and analogy. I think people, it's easy to understand, you know. So, sir, one more, the connected question that I was talking about is that we hear in the market ki people are coming up with a lot of solutions or different type of things, you know, for the patient specifically, and people who are really suffering very bad. वो लोग, they keep looking out for solutions. They keep looking out for a piece of advice that
Hmm,
suits more to their emotions rather than factuals. Okay.
hmm,
And one of the thing that I see or we see, we encounter, and when we talk to the patient, is that they keep coming up with options. So like water only. जो मैं water को stick करके, another question that I had was connected was कि they introduce, like, you know, you have some magnetic kind of a water, you have a alkaline kind of a water,
hmm.
or you have a, you know, they essentially tell you to have filters with certain type of filters. So the kind of information that is available in the market for any patient and is consuming uh, is very confusing. Although, you know, it is very difficult for them to go and talk to their nephrologist in person and ask these questions because they have tons of other things to look at, right, from food and other stuff. You know, they tend to go with what others are doing. They tend to pick up something with some examples or you know, I would say success stories that are presented to them. But scientifically, what is the fact? You know, that is something that we
Okay,
need to. So that is what
okay.
I, you know, I
What you
would
have
be
said
glad if you
is
can.
very important. Okay. Now let me put it this way.
Hmm.
Suppose you see a bald person sitting next to you,
Hmm.
right? And I
Ji.
tell you, take this tablet, he will grow hair. Will you believe me?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
won't. So you see a person
you know, it is
sitting
a
in
bot.
the
Yeah.
railway station with
Yeah.
legs amputated. मैं
Hmm.
बोलूंगा ये जड़ी बूटी आप ले लीजिए, he will grow his legs.
No, no,
Will you believe me?
no.
So we can't grow hair, we can't
Hmm.
grow nails, we
Hmm.
can't grow limbs, but we
Hmm.
have medicines which will grow you a new kidney. How is it possible?
Hmm. True.
Is there anything which can give life to a dead organ? Then
Hmm.
you have to be God.
Yeah. True. Very true.
So they don't work because we don't have the secret of life. It's not because of anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The part which stops working is because it's dead. It's not gone on strike. It's not a
Ji.
labor union कि आपने उसको
Ji. Ji.
मना के काम करवा लिया.
Ji. 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 Ji.
These are God-given organs. The
Yeah.
part which is dead.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
why these therapies which are claimed don't work. Now, regarding magnetic water, copper water, and others,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like saying, "Ki, I will not shoot you with an Indian gun. I will
Hmm.
shoot you with a Beretta. That's a better quality. पता है अमेरिका से आया हुआ है. Or I will shoot you with a Smith and Wesson
Hmm.
या इजरायली गन.
Yeah. Got it.
So tell me, magnets work on metal. Water has hydrogen and oxygen. Where will it work?
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. So
Correct.
people take advantage of the sheer desperation of our patients.
Hmm. Yeah. But that's
Quick
what, you
fixes.
know.
There are no quick fixes.
Yeah, correct. So, see, I think the point again is the same with the initiative जो हमारा WeTogether.care का भी initiative जो है वो यही है कि right information, access to right information, and having consuming the right information from credible sources like you know, it is very important because आज की date में क्या होता है, the moment it becomes a market. ओके, जो एक पेशेंट है हु इज ऑलरेडी सफरिंग इमोशनली फाइनेंशियली इन एवरी सेंस is also being taken as a customer for a lot of other products, ओके, आउट ऑफ विच से लाइक ये जो मैग्नेटिक वाटर का हो गया या फिर और कोई डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वाटर हो गया, इट इज डेफिनेटली समथिंग दैट यू नो रेजेस होप इन देम कि इससे शायद वो कुछ बेनिफिट होगा, मेंटेनेंस होगा, बट not always it works out. So another thing that I so probably wanted to know was ki what are the guidelines in terms of, because we are talking on a pollution, as pollution or water is
I'm
important
sorry,
part
I
for.
couldn't get the question. Can you
Yeah,
just be a little louder?
yeah, you hear me, sir?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying ki in terms of, because it's a pollution related topic now. So
Yeah.
water consumption
Hmm.
that we are talking about, isme are there any guidelines कि what they should be consuming? So it's like basically boiled water आप करके ठंडा करके पीजिए, या आप basic filter लगवा लीजिए, या are there anything, any guidelines ऐसे जो patients follow कर सकते हैं in terms
You
of water?
need clean water. You can
Okay.
either boil it and use it or filter
ठीक है.
and use it.
ठीक
Please
है.
don't drink RO water or anything fancy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Normal filtered water
Okay.
and RO, yeah, boiled water.
जी.
That's good enough to keep you healthy.
Okay. And sir, there are one of the things in terms of observation ऐसा भी है कि there are certain belts in the country also, जहाँ पे आप किडनी पेशेंट्स की तादाद ज्यादा पाई जाती है, मतलब एक certain belts
Absolutely.
में. So is the water playing a role there? What? Because the genetically people could be, different. What? There has to be some common factor. Is the water playing
Absolutely.
the role?
There have belts in India with very high incidence of kidney disease.
Yeah.
There are some belts in the south and other
Hmm.
places.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
places are still under investigation as to,
Hmm.
because we have not been able to identify one particular factor. So it's a
Yeah.
combination of genes, bad
Acha.
minerals, like West Bengal has very high levels of arsenic
Hmm.
in the groundwater.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
all contribute to it, but exactly identifying one particular item has still
Hmm.
not been done for India.
Acha.
Like
Hmm.
in China, it has been found that Chinese herbs
Hmm.
cause a tremendous increase in kidney disease. But
Hmm.
one particular specific element causing it, we are still not. The investigations are on, and we may be having an answer sometime later.
Hmm. So, but these or generally the kind of the way water is getting contaminated, whether it is a groundwater, whether it is a water the flowing because of the other pollutions, is it that because that will have something like you said arsenic, kind of a thing? Are there other metals or other stuff? Is there a way people should be following it? Because then filter remains an option, right? RO or anything that becomes an obvious choice for most of them.
See, a filter is definitely required. In places with very high iron content, you have to put a deionizer. Where
Acha.
you have hard water, you have to put a cation exchange
Softener.
resin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
softeners. So
Yeah.
those parameters have to be taken care of depending on the water quality of wherever you're staying.
Got it. Okay. All right, sir. Sir, I'll also would like to take little advantage of you being here and asking you some more questions that are related to kidney, not just pollution.
Sure,
uh,
sure.
and it would be very helpful. So in terms of kidney patients, like normally we see that patients go through different stages of in their kidney diseases. So agar hum log jo people who are before dialysis, if we talk about them, and in terms of like health and the regular visits that they are doing, uh, and they have been monitoring the reports and things like that, are there certain things that you would like to share with these patients that they should be following as a best practices or guidelines besides what their nephrologists say, and that it comes as a great I would say knowledge or information for them to kind of look into things.
The first and foremost a
Ji.
person must understand is accept the fact that you have a kidney problem.
Hmm.
If
Right.
you have a kidney problem, it can be dealt with, treated, and in such a way that you have the minimum side effects and the maximum lifespan.
Hmm.
The
Okay.
second very important what people have to remember is that you are not just your kidneys. There's a whole body attached to that kidney.
Very true.
So the medicines are one part of it. But
Hmm.
then there is an entire part of healthy lifestyle. If you're going to get your kidneys treated and go home and smoke 3 packets of cigarettes, it's really not going to help you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have to look after your heart. You have to look after your nutrition. You
Mm,
have to do adequate amount of exercise. I don't mean that you have to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, but
mm,
going for a walk, going to the park,
mm,
that itself makes pranayam, yoga,
mm,
good control of blood pressure,
mm,
avoiding contaminants in your food, clean water. All these form a part of holistic life care.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
So that is another very important. Again, as I told you, kidneys are silent disease. If you do not do your test, you don't catch the problem. If you don't catch the problem, you don't treat the problem.
Correct.
So do regular tests, do regular follow up, stick to your medications,
Mm,
do it, take your drugs on time,
mm,
consult your nephrologist at the frequency whichever he has advised, and you'll have a very good life, which will be problem free.
mm. Okay. Sir, at the same time, now since there's something called as hope, right? That we all know, where people actually in search of that, they move around with a lot of options. One of the options, like we just discussed in case of water consumption, also where people offer a lot of different options that at least promise to help these patients. How is how is science and other things doing in terms of easing out the life, and do we see any light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to kidney diseases, where whether it gets better in terms of whether it is dialysis machines getting smaller, becoming to tomorrow, kidney, we see nanotechnology, we hear about a lot of them. So is there anything that we can know, which also acts as a ray of hope, that this is what we see, and besides what an individual can manage, how things,
Yeah.
medication or anything.
Okay. See, the first thing is, of all organ systems,
Hmm.
kidney patient are the luckiest.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, if your lungs fail, do you have artificial lungs?
No,
You don't,
correct.
right? You have a
Correct.
brain stroke, your brain is damaged. Can they put you on a machine and make you function? No.
Right.
Is it there for your liver or heart? Kidney patients are the luckiest of the lot.
Hmm.
A dialysis machine is an artificial kidney.
Correct.
And today's quality of dialysis is so good, you have
Hmm.
fantastic lifespans. We have people on dialysis for 20 years, 30 years,
Yeah, yeah,
leading a normal life.
yeah, true.
The problem, what happens is, patient focus on those 4 hours he spends on dialysis.
Hmm.
1 week has 168 hours.
G.
They get focus कि मेरे 3 बार डायलिसिस में 12 घंटे
12 घंटे.
निकल गए. But the rest 150 hours he's doing nothing except being a couch potato. But he's worried कि मेरे ये 12 घंटे निकल गए.
Yeah.
Don't concentrate on those 12 hours. Concentrate on the rest of the 150 hours which you have,
Hmm.
which has who has stopped you from doing everything.
Very nice
The
perspective. Yeah.
second huge component of therapy is kidney transplant. You go back
Yeah.
to a normal life. Yeah, you have to be on immunosuppressions, but your life is normal and great.
Hmm.
So that is great. Now there is so much of work going on stem cells. They
Yeah.
are trying
Correct.
to get
Region.
people to grow a new kidney, a stem cell. But then we are in the nascency, the infancy of these technologies. They will
Hmm.
also come in, but they will take time.
Hmm. Got it. Wonderful. Yeah, and again, sir, since you have mentioned about the dialysis, so a lot of people have the question that, when it is recommended to have 3 weeks, 3 dialysis a week, is that a kind of a norm, or is there a good week like two? Because I think the problem besides with the masses, problem beside those 12 hours is also with the financials. So
Yeah.
it is very
So
important, but
yeah, a normal person's kidney works 24 hours a day.
yes, sir, correct.
7 days a week is 168 hours. You have
Yeah.
two kidneys. So it takes God
Hmm.
340 hours to keep your body clean.
Hmm.
How can a man-made machine do it in less than that?
Yeah.
So you, but we can't connect you to a machine for 168 hours. Is it possible?
Not
It's
practical.
not
No.
possible.
Yeah.
So this is a compromise. A world over studies have been done and say, look, this is the minimum requirement,
Hmm.
which is to keep you reasonably healthy. It is not ideal. It's
Yeah.
reasonable. No machine can do in 12 hours what your kidney does in 168 hours. It's just not possible.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
even the 12 hours is a compromise.
Hmm.
Now, regarding costs, yes, India is a self-paid economy. Costs
Yeah.
are huge.
Yeah.
What people see the cost in the wrong way.
Hmm.
Why do they see the cost? You pay 3,000 rupees for a dialysis. You don't get dialyzed. Your
Hmm.
machine, the medicines which you will be buying is 10,000 rupees per month.
Hmm.
But because the bill is broken up into smaller bits, you don't come to know.
Yeah.
You will get
Got it.
admitted twice a month and spend 2 lakhs in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who take good dialysis don't get ever admitted for months on an end, unless it's something unrelated. You miss
Correct.
two dialysis, you're in the emergency, you get admitted to ICU, then you
Hmm.
spend 80,000 rupees per day in that ICU. So you're seeing the costs in the wrong way.
Very true.
That is the first part.
Yeah.
Next part is not just life, it is quality of life.
Hmm.
If you want to have a good, healthy quality of life, spend time doing your hobbies, go to
Hmm.
work, earn a living,
Hmm.
study,
Hmm.
you have to be conscious, oriented, awake, alert.
Hmm.
What kind of life will you have where your feet are swollen, your face is swollen, your mouth smells, you're not able to eat? When you eat, you vomit, you
Hmm.
have seizures every once or twice a week, your
Hmm.
blood pressure is at 200. So, where you're compromising, you're going to compromise on the length of your life, the quality of your life, how you're going to spend your time.
Hmm. True. So, why do you think it is difficult for people, in spite of being told multiple times by the doctors, to consume this and go with the doctor's advice?
Because this is a chronic therapy.
Hmm.
In the sense, people dialyze for months and years.
Hmm.
Your duration thing is not 1 year, 2 years, 16 years.
Hmm.
So people get tired, they get fatigued
Hmm.
day in and day out visiting the hospital. So this, because you need support groups, you need
Yeah.
mental health professionals to help them cope with chronic disease. Then there is
Hmm.
caregiver fatigue.
Hmm.
The old man comes for dialysis, his son brings him, then his son is posted off to Germany. There's nobody to bring him. How does he come?
True.
Daughters get married off, spouses die. So caregiver fatigue is another huge thing.
Hmm.
So there are social impacts of treatment
Hmm.
and diseases which are much more than the medical impact.
Very true. Yeah. And I guess practically, when you say medical, specifically when it goes with the treatment and when it goes with the doctor, they already are loaded, right? They have their role to play for large number of people. Practically, other groups have to jump in to kind of look into it and encourage, or maybe uh, the, they themselves have to probably try doing it, something like that. That's essential.
Correct.
The
Correct.
challenge is mostly with the people, because the lot of questions that we get is like, very standard question. I'll throw it to you also. Is like, how do you reduce the creatinine? Okay, that's a typical question we have seen whenever हम लोग कोई सेशन करते हैं या कोई क्वेश्चंस हम लोग के पास आते हैं. ये एक क्लासिकल क्वेश्चन रहता है. एंड हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं हर डॉक्टर से इस चीज को पूछने का, कि लोगों का सवाल ये होता है कि क्रिएटिनिन लेवल अगर कम है तो एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. उसके साथ में जो बाकी के पैरामीटर्स हैं, जो चीजें हमें ध्यान में रखनी होती है, वो चीजें शायद वहां पर नहीं रखी जाती है. बट दिस इज अ क्लासिकल क्वेश्चन, एंड देन दे वांट टू लुक अराउंड फॉर
That
अ
is because
मेडिसिन व्हिच विल
people
रिड्यूस.
have not understood what is creatinine.
या.
What is the protein supplement which bodybuilders take?
या.
It's creatine.
Creatinine. Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Creatine is not a toxin. There are some 50,000 and a lakh toxins, but to measure them will cost you lakhs of rupees.
Mm.
So, the creatine is an indirect marker of uremic toxins.
Mm.
Understand?
Yep.
Trying to reduce creatinine is like saying, if I earn less, I will pay less income tax. So let me starve. That will show the government. मैं tax नहीं दूंगा. Isn't it better to
Got
earn
it.
more, give tax, and have a great life?
Yeah, yeah. True.
So creatine is an indirect marker. It has nothing to do with कि मैं creatinine कम कर दूंगा.
It's a function of the kidney, right? Which
It's
shows
a
probably
marker. It's an indirect
marker.
marker to show your uremic
Marker.
status.
Hmm.
So that is why this answer that मैं creatinine कम कैसे कर सकता हूँ is that the answers are wrong because the question is wrong.
Very true. Got it. Right. So few questions that I'll still have, and I'll come back on the related to the day's topic also. But I would still want, in terms of transplant also, if you can see, since we have you here today. So, like dialysis, we've discussed a bit. We've discussed pre-dialysis stage, and now is like, ultimate option that you say you have an option that you can go for the transplant, although there are different methodologies with which you can get a donor, or which you can have from your family member, or a cadaver donor, or whatever. Besides this, what we want to understand is that in case of the transplant, which appears to be one of the very good options, people also are hesitant because they have seen classic, or they have seen cases around them in their groups where the transplant hasn't really worked very very well for them. That is certainly, that discourages them to go ahead, or it worked, but it worked for 6 months, 1 year, then they developed certain more things like that. As a doctor, what is your perspective, and what is your thought over it, in terms of, because these are practical things that people see around.
That is because we remember tragedies and not
Yeah.
successes because they are more attention grabbing.
Correct.
Correct.
Very true.
So
Yeah.
if I have done 100 transplants in my center in the year,
Hmm.
one or two may fail,
Yeah.
98 will succeed.
Got it.
So concentrate on your successes.
Hmm.
When you go
Got it.
for hunt a school for your child,
Hmm.
do you see the success rate or failure rate? किसी
Yeah.
को जाके सुन के
Correct.
देखा इस बार आपके 12th में कितने फेल हुए हैं?
Hmm. They
We
talk
see
about.
how many have got into IIMs, IITs, medical,
Yeah.
engineering, 12th के results.
Hmm.
So again, the answer you'll get depends on the question if you get.
Hmm.
If you look for failure, you'll find only failures.
Hmm.
If you look for successes, you'll see success stories. And there are hundreds and thousands of success stories.
Hmm. But in general, in terms of dependencies, sir, in terms of, like, there are certain criteria, which people should, because it's an expense, right? I mean, doing the transplant, everybody, people have to think about it. They have a cost, they have to figure out the donor. I'm saying it's the best option, but are there best
No, no,
guidelines
no.
also?
There is no best option. It is
Okay.
one of the options.
One of the options. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Again,
very true.
we are again seeing costs in the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree. No, I probably
Uh,
am trying to showcase this in terms of, like, that's an investment that they are doing for having a better life. Okay. But the probability which they see, because they're not covered and all that, and I'm talking about every strata in the economy. So what I'm trying to understand is, from their perspective, since they are going to be doing all of this, they need to have certain best guidelines that they must take care of. Right. So are there anything, is there anything that, people should really look into, that whether they should go, which I'm sure nephrologist, all of the doctors do it very very well and recommend it wisely in terms of what they should be doing, so that, it comes out as a success and not be part of that 2%, right? But since we are talking today, are there any guidelines as such that one should really look after, for making it, having a higher probability of being more successful over here?
a better doctors, Better hospitals, better organizations, more experience will always give you better results.
I agree.
If you go down and tomorrow you take a flight of XYZ Airlines,
Mm.
and the aircraft captain says, I just finished my airline course online, and I'm your captain, will you fly that airline?
No, no, not certain. Certainly not.
Exactly. So, good centers, good experience, all generally give better results. And that's across the board for any kind of
Mm.
therapy. That is the first thing. Second
Yeah.
is due diligence in again follow up, medication,
Mm.
treatment
Mm.
is very important.
Mm. Got it. To keep it going, to keep it like, be
Correct,
better.
absolutely.
Right. Okay. All right, sir. I have few questions that the team is also suggesting that I
See,
should
what
be.
people forget, very important.
Yeah. All right, sir.
Transplant is you have a bulb which has got fused in your house,
Mm.
correct?
Gee, yeah.
You'll replace the bulb
Mm. True.
or will you sit in darkness?
No, no. Will replace.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
But how long that new bulb will last,
Ah,
nobody can give you a guarantee.
nobody can give you. Very true.
The kidneys which God gave you didn't work, but you expect the kidneys man gives you should work more than that.
Mm. Got it. I think what I could make out from all the discussion and the points you've been making is one thing which you said in the beginning is accepting it and setting up expectations. I think that is something which is very, very important. As long as someone is clear, not pessimist, of course, but not having those negative thoughts, but certainly be more realistic that okay, this is what the situation is, and this is what has been proved so far. But you have to be, you know. Uh, you have to be cognizant of the fact that this may be the case in the future, and then I think you can cope up well with all of that.
Absolutely.
Right. Wonderful.
If your expectations are realistic, you'll achieve them.
Hmm. Got it.
If you have never climbed a mountain before you had dialysis, doesn't mean that you get dialysis, I can climb a mountain.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay. So your expectations also have to be realistic because the disease has not gone away. You're just dealing with it.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I'm coming back to the pollution thing again, just to set the perspective in terms of whether adulteration, food, and especially with today's world where uh, you know design is more crucial than nutrition, and something that you see, the more attractive, tempting, beautiful it looks, I think is sold most, at least to start with. But they've been playing with, like a lot of people on the nutrition side say that the food industry has been playing around with a lot of things, and that is affecting people. We've always heard about the junk foods and stuff like that, but overall, even things like pesticides and other stuff that we see are, when people say that, are very different today as compared to what they were, let's say, a few decades back, are significantly contributing in the impact towards your vital organs or kidney specific, let's say in this particular case, right?
Absolutely. It does. We
Yeah.
are giving hormones to make cows bigger. We are
Yeah.
giving anabolic steroids to chickens.
Mm.
We are putting pesticides in high quantity in the fertilizer and plant feed, which are being
Mm.
eaten by animals whom we eat.
Mm.
We want
True.
instant food. We want quick answers. We want packaged food. We want to have
Mm.
Cokes and Pepsis and not fruit juices and milkshake and dahi because Pepsis and Coke are cool.
Yeah.
Having lassi in the crowd doesn't look cool. We want to have burgers and not chapati. So we
Mm.
take bad habits of others and incorporate it into our dietary systems.
Mm. Yeah. So specifically that, like you said, they certainly have a big impact. But is there anything that, specifically, let's say, eventually today somebody, like you said, 10 workers A very good example it was. 10 workers, they have an amount of work to do. Eventually they remain 5 and they still have the same amount of work to do. Now over here, let's say a healthy person, so called healthy person, is able to do it, and eventually that is, it is going to affect him. Now coming back to our patients, as in I'm talking about kidney patients, they still will have to be far more careful, right, with what they are eating, what they are
Absolutely.
drinking, right?
You have,
Right.
if you're Ambani, if you spend 20 lakh rupees, it doesn't affect you. For you and me, we have to live within our salary.
Yeah,
Same
true.
way,
Very
you
true.
have to adapt your lifestyle to your disease, your kidney function, because your kidney is
True.
no longer capable of adjusting to your lifestyle.
So, but do we don't seem to have, because we don't know. We have to go and purchase it from the market. We have to, yeah, you can avoid these fancy food, but at least when it comes to cereal, pulses, regular food, and all that, uh, you don't have much
See,
of choice. And
we
something
live in a
that's
society, we can take reasonable precautions.
hmm,
It's not
okay.
possible for us now to grow our own
Avoid.
food, run our
Very
own
true.
farms. But we
Very
can
true.
take reasonable amount of precautions. That's the best we can do and hope for the best.
All right, sir. One more link to this organic. Is there any say from your side when it comes to organic, which is also becoming very, people are saying,
Most
you
of the
go.
time, the label is organic. Whether the product is organic or not is $1 million question.
All right. Okay. All right. I guess I have tried taking up a couple of questions that the team and they're connected, the patients who have thrown it. Most of the questions that were in terms of the pollution and that are whether it is related to water. Air, sir, is there anything, something, because like a place
Yeah,
like Delhi and all,
the high
you know,
amount of sulfur dioxide and particulate matter are affecting
yeah.
the kidney. You're getting diseases like membranous glomerulopathy, rapid onset and progression of CKD. In fact, in the Journal of American Society of Nephrology, around a year or so back, there was a huge article on the impact of air pollution on kidneys.
So does that mean that, people like what we've seen in case of COVID and the pandemic period, masks were becoming something, they were part of it. So, should that be the case, at least for people who are suffering, and they should get into the habit of, whether whether they're done with the transplant or not. But I'm just saying, is that something, what is a precaution, what they can do?
I think the government tried its level best to get people to wear masks for COVID and they only partially succeeded. So,
True.
telling people for the rest of their lives to wear masks may work, may not work. I mean, yes, but if you can sensitize people to avoid, see, if people become knowledgeable, they will stop
Mm.
generating pollutants.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That is more
Okay.
important. Because how can you decide that you can't carry a bottle of air with you everywhere you go?
No.
And you have to live
Okay.
where there is work. Today, you have to work in Delhi or here. You can't say that I will sit in Darjeeling.
Correct.
So we have
True.
compulsions. So way is where the generations who are gone by cannot be changed. The future generations can understand this. So
Mm.
the next generation of farmers may not burn the stubble.
Mm.
Next
True.
generation of politicians may pass laws to have cleaner air.
Mm.
The next generation will not buy diesel cars.
Mm.
So it's a work in progress, and I'm sure we'll do it.
Got it. So basically, to the patients who are there today, or I mean, in general, but I'm again sticking back to the kidney patients, is that they should try and take as much as precaution possible. Okay, whether it comes to air, water, or any food that possibly is likely to get polluted. Okay, we may say so, and they should give their best to not have that, because it is certainly going to have impact on your kidneys. So if they're already not functioning well, these things besides normal other stuff, they are going to affect. So pollution that you may not consider too much has impact on your kidneys, is
Yeah,
what
you
we
have
can
to
say.
look after your organs. You see
Right.
any person who starts shedding hair, as he grows older,
Yeah.
he'll
Yeah.
buy every beauty product in the
To,
planet to
to
put on his
retain.
head. कि यार
Yeah.
बाल उग जाए.
Mm.
That time he will not count the cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But should I take this tablet for my kidneys because I can't see it?
Mm.
We'll start calculating costs.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I think we tried covering with the time that you have given to us. We tried covering a couple of things here. We would be very lucky again to have one more session that could be very specific to some of the topics where we can go live and also get our patients or viewers ask you questions directly. I would be really happy. Whenever you have that bandwidth, we would love to get you
Yeah, it's a pleasure to
back.
interact with you, and I'm sure we can do more sessions. If people
Certainly.
still have queries, on my website,
Yeah.
drmukherjeenephrologist.com, we have a lot of
Okay.
patient education materials where
Wonderful.
we have talked
Wonderful.
about diet, potassium, phosphate, medication, BP control, diabetes, and we keep adding content to it.
Awesome. Awesome.
So people can go there and reference to it.
Yes, certainly. I would also encourage, or I would also suggest my our WeTogether team to please share the link that sir has just mentioned. And people, we can also inform our viewers to go and have a look at this particular this website where they can get really good information that helps them to manage things much better.